Hi everyone, my name is Michaela. I use she, her pronouns, and I am a librarian at the Penrose Library in the Pikes Peak Library District. Today I'm going to walk you all through how to draw the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And before we get started, I did want to remind you guys quickly that copyright law is a thing that exists, and because these characters are the intellectual property of Marvel and Disney, you can't make money off of the work that you draw in this tutorial. This is just for practice. And with that out of the way, I hope you guys enjoy this video.
Alright, so step one is to gather materials, and one of the things that I like to use when I'm drawing is some kind of step-by-step guide if it's something I've never drawn before. So for this project I used this book, How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way by Stan Lee and John Buscema, and it's a really great step-by-step guide to drawing superheroes if that's something you're passionate about. I highly recommend checking it out from PPLD. The other materials that you will need for this project are a piece of drawing paper, anything will do. You will also need a pencil sharpener if you're not using a mechanical pencil, and then some kind of good eraser. I have two here that I'll be using for this project. When you're drawing people, it helps to block in their poses by drawing a rough skeletal structure or stick figure. Draw an oval for the head with a slightly curved line down the middle on the vertical axis and the horizontal axis. This will indicate where the face will be. Then draw circles for the joints at the shoulders with a line to connect them, the spine down the center, and then a small oval for the pelvis and a larger oval for the torso. Continue to draw smaller circles for the other joints like the hips, wrists, knees, and ankles. Connect those circles with lines to indicate where the arms and legs will fall, and then block in the feet and hands with triangle-like shapes. Next, we're going to build the body using more complicated shapes and forms. Cylinders are going to be the most helpful for the legs and arms. The upper arms and the lower arms, for instance, are separate cylinders that are connected by the circle that we've drawn in at the elbow. The same is true at the wrists. The hand, which you can draw in a more solid rectangular shape, is connected to the lower arm at the joint, at that circle that you've drawn. Once you get to the torso, draw something that's a little bit more cube-shaped than cylindrical, and then connect it to the pelvis with another circle to indicate where the range of motion would be between the pelvis and the spine. And then continue to draw in cylinders and these more complicated forms for the legs and the arm on the opposite side. Something else to keep in mind when you're drawing in these shapes is that the cylinders for like the thighs, for example, for the upper thighs, are going to start out thicker at the top and then taper a little bit once they reach the joints. The same is true as with the calves. They're going to start out a little bit wider at the top and then narrow as they head to the ankles. And the same is true with the arms here. They're going to taper at the wrists and the elbows, instead of remaining the same width all the way down. So just keep that in mind when you're blocking in these shapes. Here we can also start to block in a more solid structure for the face. Square the jaw, add in an ear, and then try to indicate where the hairline will be. Once you've blocked in the major forms, connect everything together. Draw connecting lines at the joints, like at the elbows, knees, and waist, to finish blocking in the entire body. At this point, you can also start to draw the face. Draw the eyes using the horizontal line in the middle of the oval. Draw one eye on either side of the vertical line, and the nose about halfway between the eyes and the chin. The mouth will be about halfway between the nose and the chin. They don't have to be perfect at this moment, just kind of structure where they might fall, and then we can draw in details later. At this point, look over your work and make any adjustments you think are necessary. I saw adjustments I could make in the left arm, so I chose to erase it and completely redo it. If you see anything that doesn't look like you want it to, erase it and change it as necessary. The next step is super simple. Just erase any of the lines you drew in when you were blocking in the body in steps 1 and 2. Any line that you drew in for the stick figure or the cylinders that you used for the limbs or the torso. The next step is to start adding clothing and other details. Block out the clothes as they would fall on the body, and remember when you get there to add wrinkles in the fabric because nothing is completely skin tight. I started blocking in things with Bucky's utility belt. I started there just because that felt easier for me, but you can start at any point that's right for you. Remember to draw lightly and keep making changes if something doesn't look completely right. Continue to add details in the clothing and any extra special features that the superhero might have. For instance, here I will start drawing in details in Bucky's arm to make it look mechanical. You can also add details into the hair, the eyes, the nose, mouth, etc.
Once you have as many details drawn into the outfit as you want, add a bit more dimension by shading in a few places. Shading lightly on the rib cage under the left arm and on the inside of the right leg, for example, will help create the illusion of 3 dimensions. Continue shading and adding details until you feel like you're done. There's really no end point, so you can pretty much stop whenever you want. An optional step after this is to go over your outlines with an ink pen or something more permanent than pencil. Otherwise, stop whenever you feel like stopping. When you're ready to draw the Falcon as well as the Winter Soldier, you're basically going to repeat all the same steps that we did for Bucky with Sam. You will start here with the skeletal structure and to block in the pose, with the circles for the joints, lines for the spine and limbs, etc. And then continue on from there.